I have Iris Orchestra music director and conductor Michael Stern on with me now. Hi, Michael.
Hey, how are you? Great to be with you.
Thanks. This is going to be fun. Let's talk a little bit about the music, and then we'll talk about some of the little ancillary activities that you have going on also.
Well, first of all, as you mentioned, our entire season is this idea of partnership with organizations to highlight what makes Memphis and the Mid-South so distinctive in terms of accomplishment and in terms of sort of, interest, artistic interest and activity. And, the idea of cooking, I mean, Memphis, let's face it, has become a real foodie town, right?
Oh, yes.
So we love the idea. And also, let's face it, musicians love to eat. I mean, I like to cook, but I really like to eat. So we figured it would be a lot of fun to choose a program and then ask these chefs around the city to be inspired by that program. So, of course, how can we not have some French music on it, right?
Right,
so,
exactly.
The Forêt Péléas et Mélisande, as you mentioned, not the only piece of music to be inspired by that tale, but an especially beautiful setting of it and very evocative, especially for that time. The whole way French music changed at the end of the 19th century and into the 20th century, already sort of pointing towards more and more towards this impressionism, the delicate gossamer instrumentation, and Fauré, especially in this piece, these beautiful melodies. There is a kind of mellifluousness and a sweetness that we thought would be attractive to a chef being inspired by classic French cooking. But we also have a wonderful piece by Albert Roussel, the Concert pour Petit Orchestre, the concerto for little orchestra, which is a much more sort of spicy, sort of perky piece, equally, I mean, very rhythmic, very evocative but in a completely different way, and no less French. So if a chef wanted to take inspiration from French cooking, from, the sort of softer flavored, the sort of subtle, nuanced flavors of French cooking as opposed to something bolder, they can run the gamut.
Exactly.
So we thought that was funny. And then we also have, for a little contrast, the Blumine movement that Mahler originally wrote for his first symphony.
Right.
And this I thought was interesting because, as you know, of course, Daryl, the first symphony is enormous.
Exactly.
And this movement is incredibly intimate, incredibly delicate, but it's nicknamed Blumine, which is, of course, the flower movement. Mm-hmm. And we thought, if you're going to go to more Central European taste, whether it's cooking or music, we should really tie it to the earth, right? So The Mahler movement in this case is very organic, and we thought that would also be an inspiration for a chef, right?
Sure,
organic
certainly.
Ingredients, but also a kind of earthiness and a deep sort of connection with, what is it, farm to table? This is farm to table music.
There you go.
Or garden to table music. But incredibly beautiful and a wonderful foil on the first half for these two French pieces. And then...
Yeah. You've one of your good friends returning.
One of our great friends returning, and one of the greatest pianists in the world, Yefim Bronsman, and bringing the Tchaikovsky concerto, but not the number one, which is so often played, but number two, which is an absolutely stunning work. Actually, a work that I just recorded with the New Zealand Symphony.
Right, we have that recording, yes. We just played it the other day.
I just love it. I think it's such a great piece. It needs a fantastic pianist to play, and of course we have that in FEMA. And there, the connection is the close cross-pollinization that always existed at the Russian court with all things French, but still Russian music sounds distinctively Russian, just as Russian cooking is distinctively Russian, but there was a lot of inspiration and influence from France at the Russian court at the end of the 19th century when Tchaikovsky was writing this music. So I like to sort of play with these ideas, and I think the program, aside from it just being great music with one of the great soloists of our time, I think has this kind of holistic feel both for food and music. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
We're talking about the next Iris Orchestra concert. It is this weekend, Saturday evening and Sunday afternoon, both performances at GPAC. And, of course, get your tickets at 751-7500. Michael Stern is my guest today. So in addition to the program itself, you have partnered with, as we mentioned, the Fine Food and Culinary Arts, and 5 very prominent restaurateurs here in Memphis are going to be working with you on not only that program that night, but also this is Iris Restaurant Week here in the Mid-South.
That's right. So there will be kind of a communal energy back and forth that you can already think about the program the entire week as you go to any one of these restaurants and get a pre-taste in actual food of what we're going to present on Saturday night and Sunday afternoon.
We should mention these restaurants are Andrew Michael Italian Kitchen, Erling Jensen Restaurant, Paulette's Restaurant Iris, and River Oaks Restaurant, which all have amazing chefs working there. It's well-known chefs, some James Beard Award winners, Food and Wine Award winners. These are kind of, I don't want to really say the cream of the crop because we have so many great restaurants, but these are definitely really some of the top folks here in town.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, we couldn't expand the list to all the ones that we would have wanted to, but we had to keep it somewhat discreet just so people wouldn't be overwhelmed with the choice. But, you know, there will be some special things on the menu that relate to Iris, and Iris ticket goers will get a special accommodation at the restaurant. It's going to be a lot of fun to do this. My problem is that I'm not sure that I have 5 free nights to try the special things at each restaurant, but I'm going to do my best.
And so in addition to this being special menus at these 5 restaurants during this week, starting, I guess, today, you're going to have some tastings there at the concert themselves.
I think so. That's right. Yeah. Which is going to be fun. I mean, this is not a program that you want to come hungry to, right?
Right.
Make sure that everybody's sated in actual food and in musical nourishment as well.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun, and what a great partnership. As you mentioned, music and food, they always go together. The Iris concert, Sustenance for the Soul, Saturday evening at 8, Sunday afternoon at 2 at Germantown Performing Arts Center. Get your tickets now, 751-7500. My guest today, Michael Stern. Michael, thank you so much.
Always a pleasure, Daryl. Thank you.